Hello, hello, I'm back. Can everybody hear me? Oh, I should probably give a text box behind that. Give me a second. Is that better? Yeah, you can sort of read that. Okay, hello. Your audio is a little quiet. Oh, um, let me fix that then. Hello, hello. Test, test. Why is it so quiet? Hello, hello? There you go. Uh, it just suddenly turned off for some reason. Someone called a necromancer. No, no, I'm alive. I'm alive. I live. But yeah, hello, Stan. Yeah, I'm good now. Everything's good. Everything's fine. Okay. How's everybody doing, by the way? Um, we're gonna continue where we left off and just do some practice, right? I think it's gonna benefit my ability to draw the dwarven structures a lot, to just practice, like just keep drilling it into my own head. So let's see, what kind of structures? Good. Found my comfy clothes. That's good. Give me a second while I look for like more pretty structures. Yeah, let's start off slow with this thing. Found this. This looks nice. Can try copying this. Ooh, not the best resolution I found, but it's fine. Your room is so cold your fingers are freezing? Get a blanket or something. What style are you thinking of with the dwarves? I don't know yet. I've played around with a few things, but I feel like it's gonna be a sort of mix of a lot of things to get the right feel across. So it's gonna take a lot of playing around. That's why I'm sort of just taking inspiration from anything I can find, because I still don't have like a very strong idea of what direction to go in. Domes are great. So are arches. Agreed. Agreed. Domes are definitely great. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pop out a 5-minute timer. Uh, I'm gonna turn on desktop noise, so you can hear when the timer goes off. I tried to make it an overlay, but for some reason it just doesn't see it. Like, I don't know what kind of source it is. Uh, is it a browser? No, it isn't a browser. Hold on. I'm gonna try again, because I don't... Replay scene. It must be a scene, right? It makes sense. Scene, window. Voice control, voice meter. No, 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 no. It ain't there. It's so weird. I don't understand. That's fine. Okay, though I do have a timer for 5 minutes. So let's get right into it. I'm just gonna try to get the essence of this down in 5 minutes. Same as the other ones. 3, 2, 1, go! If anybody wants to participate in this, by the way, go ahead. I love to have some people to draw along with. Just for fun. Could find some images and try to draw them in like 5 minutes. Because I think it's good practice. Gets you to like focus on the essential things. beautiful straight lines. There you go. And we got the arches. I should probably use the straight line tool to my advantage, actually. I don't know why I'm not doing that. It's fine, though. This first one's ugly, of course, because I just started, but hopefully the ones coming after it are gonna be a lot better. Hmm. Oh, there you go. That's the 5 minutes up. Glad they're taking their time for Silksong. Oh, I completely agree. Hold on. I missed like a really important part of the design. Could have done this in time. That's a shame. This is ugly as hell. There you go. But yeah, I like that they're taking their time. It's definitely gonna turn out amazingly knowing the base game, so There you go. Let's look up a different reference now. What the hell was that? Highly ornate building from Paris World Fair. That looks amazing. We're doing that one. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do the whole thing in 5 minutes, but we're damn sure gonna try. I have no idea what that is, though. I just like this front part. And I mean, it's more of a structure than the other stuff, so I'm gonna try to like stay zoomed out till this amount pretty much to try and get just like the general shape of it. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, go. I hope you can't hear the dogs outside. And there are some dogs not that happy. Some big old fancy shit at the top, and then there. Some trees blocking that weird pitchfork-esque light thing. People. And I think that's some sort of fountain thing in front. Looks like it. Like that. There you go. 5 minutes. I love that I could imagine the top part replaced with a carving of a dwarf peeking over at the crowd swarming in and out of the bazaar. No, I don't think that's gonna fit. I don't want any like two imposing statues looking over the crowd like it's a fucking prison or something, you know? That's not really how I picture the location being. Um but yeah, that was a good try, I'd say. If you like look at it from this distance, it's sort of close-ish. But I like the shape of it. How many races do I have so far? So far I have 2. I have humans and I got dwarves. That's it. Nothing beyond that yet. I'm actually gonna go draw more of these big structures because it seems like they might help me figure out like the perspective and feel of things. So let's go with this one next. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it. This one. How's the book coming along? It's currently being put on hold until I finish this video. And then we're gonna continue with it. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I guess let's just go for it. So far, only humans and dwarves? Yeah, only humans and dwarves. Be cool to see a Sphinx type of history with a structure, though, if you believe it was built and then somebody came, we carved it. Eh? Yeah? I don't understand that sentence. It's interesting how places are developed in high fantasy versus architecture stream. I love it. What? It interesting how places are developed in high fantasy versus architecture stream. Love it. I don't understand that sentence either. I don't know what there is verses about that, or what that means. Like high fantasy streams, are you talking about 2 of my streams compared to each other, or 2 different people's streams compared to it? It doesn't make. I'm sorry, I can't copy. Um, are the dwarves still the same as the ones in your other videos? I think they look pretty cool. Yeah, they're still the same ones. Um, yes, they're the same ones. Yeah. Thank you, Bonky McNoggins, for the $10. Appreciate it. Okay, let's get right into this one. Stream in the sense profession. Hehe. I also don't understand that. I'm sorry. Maybe it's because I'm tired or something, but I don't understand most of these sentences you guys are writing. What about those gnome worm things? Aren't they a civilization? I wouldn't really call it a civilization. I want them to be a creature in the world, yes, but not to the point where I'd consider them a civilization. So I don't know. I don't know. Uh, some say it was carved to look like a lion, and then years later, someone carved a human head out of the lion head. Oh, that's what you meant. Yeah, that could be interesting. I mean, structures get developed over time. I want to show that like there's a progression in everything and nothing's stagnant. Um, so I with like cities and stuff like that, I want to emphasize a lot on movement. You know, like the city is moving, if that makes sense. Like there's construction happening. There's walls getting built up. There's houses with scaffolding around them because it makes you feel like there's actually something happening to the place. You know, it's not just done. You know, a lot of fantasy cities I see that are just done. Like they're perfect, pristine in their state that they are. No construction, no crates getting moved around. The streets are clean. Everything's there, right? But that's not really how I think it should look in my world. I feel like there's going to be a lot of scaffolding, a lot of torn down walls, a lot of broken things getting replaced, a lot of uh, burnt down buildings and stuff like that getting hauled out, like the pieces getting cleaned up and stuff like that. It's like there's constantly change in cities and stuff like that. I tried to capture that a little bit with the sketch of my dwarven city, or the entrance, the forge, because I had like scaffolding on the side. Like I was thinking it was still under constructions, like they're still adding things to it. It's not a done structure. Especially because the dwarves. I don't think the dwarves could settle ever. Um, because of their mindset of like, I want this to be perfect. I want to add to it. I want to make it more perfect. I want to add more detail to it. Like they'd be fiddling around the structure the whole time. I bet like some dwarves would sneakily sneak by a pillar that they saw and it bothered them that there wasn't a pattern in one of the spots that was still empty, and they'd pull out their chiseling tools and just knock in a few more curves and curls just to fill it out. And then they'd come back the next day and be like, there's I could put curls in those curls, you know, and they just go for that. Um I could not agree more. It's so cool when environments aren't just stagnant. Yeah, yeah. Especially when there's a war going on. Agreed. Like things should be getting destroyed and stuff like that constantly. Do you think they would sell colored stones for mosaics for the uh, aristocracy? Aristocracy? Or is it not monetizable enough compared to rare minerals for thimbles? I'd say like the largest export that they have is jewelry and stuff like that. I doubt that they would care much about selling colored stones. Um, one thing is like with colored stones, it's either you get them from multiple locations, or you take one type of stone and then color it. But dwarves don't really care about color. Like they're not very color based. Like in their minds, they'd have to light them up even more, which they wouldn't like. They a lot of their stuff and theme is based around them not focusing on color but texture instead. Like that's their main way of decorating things. So they don't really have mosaics or stuff like that, um, because that requires color. Unless it's like a carved or embossed mosaic, I guess. Ruins and new settlements in a spot. Uh, hence like different ages of cities, not just. Yeah, I love when a city is built on top of itself, or there's like rings, like a tree. Um, or just old buildings next to new buildings, because normally it's like you don't go through a stage of civilization, tear down everything and then start it up again to make the next stage of the civilization and make all the buildings clean again. There's gonna be fucking old ass wooden rickety huts next to nice pristine chapels, because that house is still owned by like some old ass grandma who's refusing to die and let up her land, you know. And the stonemasons in town are waiting her to fucking drop so they can replace it with another nice marble structure or something, or like just farmers and stuff like that outside of the city wouldn't be that quick to be affected by that sort of new standard. You know, their houses might still be basically in a different age, you know? Also, probably because they built them themselves. They didn't have hired stonemasons to build beautiful structures and shit like that. They pour their own blood, sweat, and tears to make something that works and is functional, not to be pretty. Uh, so or like a city that got torn down, like ruins, and then building upon old ruins also gives like an interesting aesthetic. You can have some really old walls and walkways and structures that are still remnants, like maybe some random pillars next to a building that don't look the same as the theme of or style of structure uh, of the rest of the buildings. A real life example of this is Paris. It grew radially. Yeah, yeah. Be cool if you had newer styles literally built on top of old styles. Yeah. In the West, for a long time, artistry, architecture were taught and sponsored by monasteries because that's where all knowledge was stored. Interesting. I didn't know that. Every time it expanded, they tore down old fort walls and built new ones at the boundary. I mean, we don't have to have it be like that, you know? Like, it could be that in this world, people are very sentimental about old structures and history and stuff like that. And they try to preserve old structures in the form that they find them. That could be interesting as well. Just throwing out ideas. I wonder how magic would affect construction. Very large structures like the bunker cities or outer perimeter walls of cities that have the luxury of having an outer perimeter wall. Those are most likely constructed by terraforming mages using a mixture of concrete. Because you could just conjure a wall, which makes it a lot easier to make mega structures, right? Because you don't need people climbing up there, or well, you have to do it to a certain extent, but like the very large portions, rough can be roughed in very quickly. You know, I wouldn't expect it to be very like it is controlled, but not to like a stonemason's extent. You know, you can make a large slab come up out of the ground, right? There you go. You have a slab of stone. You got to clean up the edges a bit, but it's a really strong base to build off of. You know, so you can really quickly like block in a large structure and then have masons and proper construction workers and stuff like that work at it to refine it. The for example here, hold on, this is not the right. It's on the other thing. Let's see. Here. What's a good example? These are all animals. There you go. This picture is like from the outer perimeter wall. Where I was sort of picturing that it would have like these sort of water drop-esque patterns on it. And these are remnants from the terraforming mages casting the wall up out of the ground pretty much. And solidifying it. So each one of these spots is where a terraforming mage cast a spell to solidify that part of the wall, right? So you can tell how many times a spell had to be cast to like build up this whole structure. And obviously the edges wouldn't be cut off like this. So after they cast the main structure of this, they'd have to cut out parts that are overlapping and clean it up and make walkways inside and stairs up and stuff like that. But the main structure can be built up. Like if you got a bunch of terraforming mages, you could build some big ass things really quickly. You know. So that's sort of how I imagine it. And obviously you could shave off these like wavy patterns on it, but I do think that it's like a cool detail to keep them, and I think the people in the world would also be like, yeah, actually this is like a cool pattern to like keep on walls. So it also shows that it then you can also differentiate structures by look. If it has this pattern, you can tell, oh, terraforming mages did this, which is neat. Um so can you carve into it? Can you carve ifs into walls to make them stronger? No. I mean, you'd have to. I mean, I haven't thought of any ifs that are used to strengthen materials. You probably could. Like I guess a hardening scroll or a hardening if would be possible, though you'd have to fuel it with mana, right? Which means it would be constantly wasting mana while you're casting the hardening if. Maybe there's a limit to it. Like you could cast hardening ifs on a wall to harden it to the extent that that scroll can do it, and then that's it. You can't really do it beyond that point. Reminds me of continuing rings in a tree that determine age. It's a cool idea. Thank you. I can imagine a terraforming mage would be quite valued in having uh in your employ. Yeah. Like terraforming mages are very valued by Varus and Ram alike. Both sides love their terraforming mages. It is like a very harmful magic. It's one of the more harmful ones to the users, but the benefits are hard to ignore. If you can build a whole bunker in a night, like you gotta have that in a war, especially. Um, it could be like a signature for them, like the ripples could represent and display quality of the structure as well. Oh yeah, I bet. I mean, I bet that the size of the rings and the cleanliness of the ripple would very much indicate the skill of the mage who cast those rings. Like some mages might be not as proficient with terraforming mages and make like wonky smaller rings to fill in the gaps, but then the very proficient mages make like these really large rippled portions that are just, immense. Uh Osurius? Hold on. Osurius. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Osurius. Are there differences in mages from Ram and Varus? I mean, if we're going by the broadest strokes, then no. They both use magic, right? They both cast spells. But if we like go deeper into it, the specifics of how they conduct themselves and what they wear and the type of inputs and outputs they have available to them, the types of magics that are more prolific in each area, the amount of mages they have, what the mages do, mostly. Like for example, Ram has a lot of mages that are employed in scroll making, because to Ram it is they have less mages, right? So it is a lot more value for them to instead employ the mages to be making scrolls to send to the front lines for average soldiers to be able to use to cast spells. Um, Varus, on the other hand, has a lot more mages on hand, them being the ones who have the largest like magic academy to themselves and a lot of uh, studying mages under their belt. Under their belt. I don't know if that's the right term to use there. Um, so they use them as like more soldiers, go out in the battlefield and fight people. But that requires like a whole different sort of training as well, because like um, casting a spell in the comfort of your own, well, in the comfort of your own home in a bunker, um, while it's quiet around and you can focus fully on something, is completely different from trying to cast in a stressful situation while there's gun and cannon fire raining down on you. So it requires like a whole different field. Like a war caster is different from a normal caster, because they're just built different. You can't you got to be a certain type of nuts to be able to focus in those kinds of situations. Uh, are there going to be any man-made superstructures excluding the towers? I don't know what would qualify as a superstructure. I'd say yes if you would if giant bunker cities are considered superstructures, then yes. But if it has to be as big as the pillars, then no, no, not even close. People can't at this point they can't build anything close to as big as the towers. Giant cities like the capitals and stuff like that around the bottom of the pillars are dwarfed by the size of the pillars themselves. Um, but they do make some pretty big things. Having an impact on the natural resources of the land in some way or another. What do the mages believe in? Is it like a sense of what do the mages believe in? Be- oh, well, I mean, mages are still people. So they most likely, I mean, the religions in the world I expect to be quite harsh when it comes to their belief, because the religions are also a way to sort of control and know for sure that the people are all working for the same cause. So most likely they'd believe in their home country's religion, right? So Ram mages probably believe in centrism, and Varus mages believe in xenophism, um, and they're xenophists. So they're probably also like being a mage and being able to become a mage is like a very expensive thing. So like most mages that are drafted, I would picture like most mages are drafted by the military to become mages and then serve under the military or whatever to do jobs and do their duty and stuff like that. So you wouldn't just be able to be like, "Oh, I want to become a mage," and then you become a mage and you can go do your own thing. No, you have a loyalty to the to your country to serve as a mage under the guise of, the military and the church. Do their duties. Duties. How long did it take you to create the terrain you've got sketched there? Not that long. I mean, you can see that there ain't that many lines. It's just like a few going like this to indicate that there might be a mountain, and then just some really rough. I mean, look at this. If you zoom in, that's absolute garbage. That doesn't make sense at all. Would it be possible that a character would have essentially been sent through Mage College by, say, a wealthy patron and saw that they had talent? Mage College grant. Well, yeah, I was sort of thinking there's two ways you can become a mage. You either get indoctrinated. I don't know if I use these words right, by the way. Just assume, like, I hope I'm making enough sense that you can sort of go off of it yourself, because I might be using like the completely wrong words and stuff like that. Um, But yeah, you can either get taken in by the church and the government to get you to become a mage, and they fund your procedures to get an input and an output, and also the training and stuff like that. And then you serve them, or you can be really rich and just pay your way through it, right? And then you wouldn't be subservient to anyone either. So you could go do your own thing, but that is you definitely not encouraged. I doubt they'd be too happy to that's why it's expensive. I mean, I doubt the state or the government would be too happy to train a mage that they wouldn't have in their control. But if you shove enough money in their pockets, they'll probably let it. They'll probably let it happen. Pay your way through it, yeah. Speed run their kids through mage college. I doubt you'd like. I doubt you'd get much out of speed running that. Unless your kid is a savant at magic, there's no speed running that. Magic is to my understanding of how I want magic to be, I want it to be like a really tough thing. Like getting indoctrinated or getting turned into a mage ain't like a oh, you farmhand become a mage and then blah 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 they become a mage. Like there's vigorous training to get to the point where they can even tell if you'll be fucking useful or not. Most people probably get sent off after getting the inputs and outputs just because they realize they don't even, they've been here for a year. They haven't started grasping the concepts of magic. They get them out of here. They're not going to be useful. If we train them for 10 years, they're going to be half as good as any other mage. It's not worth it. So it'd be really hard to speed run um, magic learning. Um, how did magic begin? I'm gonna cover that in another video. We know, but we'll have to cover that in another video. Speedrunning magic surgeries, difficult training and studies, and destroying our bodies in an ongoing war. Do military mages use thimbles? Thimbles are like the most generic output, right? Thimbles isn't like, oh yeah, everybody uses a thimble because it's the best thing. No, it isn't the best at anything. It is honestly the it's not the worst, but it's the most average, right? It's not it's it's a small add-on to the tip of your finger, right? So it's convenient and portable and easy to have with you, and you can cast fairly okay spells with it. But efficiency wise, for like acceleration spells, you want something that's very long and has a lot of a very aggressive shape. So if you're an acceleration mage in the military, you wouldn't be using thimbles. That's a waste of mana. You'd be using like a big old, basically a gun, a staff, where you shove a projectile down a barrel, same as any musket, and then you'd fire it off, and it would be like probably maybe even twice as long as some other guns to really maximize the efficiency of the mana being used. If you're a healing mage, you wouldn't be using thimbles either. Even though a thimble is not that much of an aggressive shape for healing magic, you really want to make sure you're not giving your patients cancer. So for them, they more have like these shield like or buckler sized outputs, buckler sized sort of finger rings that are on their hands or like handheld. that they cast magic with to help, distribute that healing to not give them cancer. Um, or like terraforming mages, for example, they use staves as well. And their staves are basically like sculpting tools. Their staves range in size and shape. Some spread out like a sort of uh, some of them are shaped like this, like an axe head. Some of them are shaped like this, depending on what kind of terraforming you want to do. You're basically sculpting the land, so you need different tools, different shapes. So most of their staves are like the more expensive ones. Some of the cheaper mages, I'd expect they just have a lot of different staves. The more expensive ones, I'd probably expect to have like a screw on or maybe a locking system somehow where they can attach different heads to the tip of their staff to be able to cast different shapes. Failed mages, yeah, I'd expect there to be failed mages and stuff like that. I doubt they'd want to like leave the input in you because that's just a waste. Honestly, I think they'd probably take it out of you again and then close up the hole. So you wouldn't have people with inputs, you'd have people with hole-shaped scars, um, who could have become mages but didn't succeed. You know, are some mage schools run by religions, or are they all strictly scientifical? I'd say that religion in the world is like a really big fund funder of these things. Um, so it's like a lot of the magic school's funds I expect to come from the religious church of centrism. So they do have like power over a lot of things, including like the military and stuff like that. So I do expect there to be a separate government, but there to also be the church that has their hands in pretty much everything because they have a large amount of funds that they can use to dictate a lot of things and input their uh, will. Just dropping in to say thanks for the frequency of streams lately. They've been really nice and comforting to listen to. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Also, good luck with your book. Thank you. I'll try my best with the book, and obviously, Chabi and Sadeka and Stan will be helping a bunch as well. Can't thank those guys enough. With how much like they're helping with the process of actually doing that. But yeah, let's get back to practice. I've been talking enough. 3, 2, 1. I'm drawing way off perspective. It was way too big. Okay. And I accidentally drew it too close to the side, so I can't finish this thing. It's close enough. And then people are this size. There you go. Okay, nice. Uh, what did I miss? Can you use magic to program terrain to respond in a specific way when someone walks in it or something? I mean, I doubt you could program it, but I bet you could terraform something in a way that would be impossible to build other ways, like something that is very thin that would break under the step of someone, but hold up. So I, huh? Nothing. Not much. Not much. What? Confused. But yeah, I bet you could build structures that you couldn't otherwise, like traps and stuff like that. But I doubt you could program something uh, that wouldn't work. Oh no, I cheated. I drew 2 lines after. What about an if? Well, ifs need to be powered to work. So you could make a trap that has ifs, but you can't like cast an if into something while terraforming it. Ifs is a whole different study of magic. So you'd have to be a terraformer that can also write ifs. And then you would have to cast a thing, creating it so terraform something into the shape you want, and then go through the whole structure writing ifs on it, but even then, the material is made out of stone, so it would be incredibly inefficient um, to be throwing mana through stone. And then you'd have to fuel it somehow with mana. So it just seems very impractical, you know? Let's get another structure in here. Hey, Roken! Hello, welcome to the stream. Sorry if you messaged something before and I didn't notice. Oh yeah, you did say hello. Hello. Glad to have you here. How's it going? Could you trap a person's soul in an object and use that? I don't want to deal with soul shit. I really don't want to deal with soul shit in the world. Um, I I've had it up to here with spirit farts. You know, like I don't think people have gained an understanding of if there are souls or how to capture them. Like I want it to be the same as in this world pretty much, where we don't know if they exist or not. They're a theoretical thing. Like people probably believe in ghosts. Like that's always been a belief that people have had, so they probably believe that ghosts and spirits are a thing, you know. But I wouldn't expect them to have actually confirmed, yes, there's spirits, and yes, I can shove it into something. Yeah, and definitely not as a power source. I don't understand that idea, or at least I don't want to use it. It doesn't make sense to me that I could use like a soul as a power source or something. Maybe a back alley surgeon. Well, yeah, yeah, bootleg mages would totally be a thing. This is a weird structure. I don't know why it's. I like it though. Yeah, I like the roof. So we're gonna use this. Like that roof with the things going up. That sort of reminds me of the dwarven roof that I wanted, where it like slants outwards then inwards. Damn it, I put it on the wrong page again. There you go. Okay, let me remove some of these images so we can get some more space. On some of these images, all of them. Okay, let me put that there. I can fill this up. If someone was to use mana on a physical object, will it have the byproduct of engraving patterns similar to the way mages' bodies are modified by using mana passing through them? Yes. I the said thing that mana gets imbued into would slowly conform to better accommodate mana. It is a process that is called unfurling. Unfurling is used in a lot of things. Inputs that are made out of unfurled metal are a lot better than inputs that are made out of just normal metal. Um, Also, when it comes to kindling that is the materials used in spellcasting. If it's an unfurled material that's gone through an unfurling process, it's a lot more susceptible to mana, which means it's a lot more efficient in casting spells. So yes, it would conform to the preferred shape language of magic. What the fuck? Magic, mana. Do you find inspiration in philosophical themes, questions, issues? Not that deep. I don't find. I mean, maybe unintentionally, there might be some philosophical questions that come up, but mostly my inspiration for world building is just looking at something and asking how that would affect things. Like, oh yeah, if there's magic in the world, like how many things would that affect? You know, and that makes it a lot more interesting than just having a regular world that happens to have magic in it, like it was just a normal thing. You know, like it would affect so many things, and I try to like weave everything together as much as possible. Um, so yeah, I guess some strange questions come out of that. You know, sometimes there's a lot of if, ands, and buts, like, oh, what if this? Then how does that work, or whatever. Also, Roken, thank you for the €5. Appreciate it. Would you incorporate entrance figures like what? Huh? Would you incorporate entrance figures like Lamassu? I don't know what that is. The reference architecture seems like it would be compatible with Lamassu. Just an idea. I probably butchered the pronunciation of that. Let me search it up. Lamassu. Oh, oh, these things. Yeah, I think that would be interesting. I mean, I do want some sort of carvings of dwarves in the buildings, but just not too not trying too hard, you know? Not like two big ass figures of dwarves holding weapons facing the entrance going, "Ah!" Like that's a little too much, you know? Maybe just them like crouched in the jar shape and something like that. But yeah, this would be interesting. Actually, this might be a really good idea for how to do that. Let me save this. Thank you for the suggestion and the donation. Appreciate it. Yeah, let me keep that in the. What is everyone's preferred dipping sauce for chicken nuggets? Just ketchup. Ketchup. I'm a boring boy. Just ketchup. Me looking at a combustion mage in the eye as I chug all of his mana consecutively, regardless of the salt. God, that is a power play right there. Those are disgustingly salty, and you just chugged it in front of a mage, like taking it out of their satchel and just fucking downing it. That is, they'd be running for the hills. They'll be like, whatever the fuck magic that guy's using, I don't want to find out. He's a monster. Doesn't matter if he's a mage or not. That beast of a man. uh, any piece of media you'd personally recommend to may or may not be well known? Love your work and your world building. Piece of media? Uh, I don't know, man. Like to give inspiration or something. Uh, like books or video. Hmm. Depends on what genre. There's a lot. There's a lot to pick from. What genre? Um, I'll tell you like genre based because that's too broad for me to like easily um tell you. Definitely Warframe, especially Duvirian the Sentence. Yeah, I'd say Warframe is definitely a very visually interesting game. I love the visuals of the game. Um, I don't recommend playing it. You will yeah. I not to judge anybody who's still playing Warframe, but to me for some reason after I've played it for a while, it just clicked in my head like I'm in an unending cycle. This this is like the dopamine I gain is overshadowed by the impending thought of the whole gameplay I'm doing right now is to work up to the next thing to proceed to do the same gameplay more efficiently. You know, like, and it just sort of clicked to me like, this is farming for the sake of farming. And I mean, yeah, that was obviously no shit. That's what the whole game loop is, you know? That's what the whole game loop is. I know. But it was sort of I enjoyed the gameplay until somehow it flipped. I don't know how because I knew that was the thing all along, but then it's like, wait, but that's literally it. Like that is the only thing I'm doing right now.
I'm literally just killing things, and I'm not enjoying the killing part because I kill everything instantly. The part I enjoy is killing it so I can wait for the next weapon that's also gonna kill them fucking instantly, or the next warframe that's also gonna kill them fucking instantly, to to do it faster. It's like I just couldn't. I just couldn't. My my mind was opened. My third eye fucking opened and on the top of my head, and I just couldn't. Yeah. Also, thank you for the 10 plin. Um, I would love to try and pronounce your name, but I'm yeah, just SZ. Thank you. Greetings from Poland. Do your dwarves like alcohol? Oh fuck yeah, they love alcohol. That's a big thing amongst the dwarves. They love something called grot. Well, actually, everything that is based or associated with chilling and drinking and smoking is called grot. So, but but yeah, they got grot. Grot is also the thing they smoke. It's all sort of bundled together. They probably have like specific names for each thing, but altogether, chilling and the act of drinking and smoking is called grot. You're gonna hate Farming Simulator then? I feel like a lot of artists get into the trap of games. I mean, yes, it's hmm. I fell under the controlling gaze of uh From the Depths for like a really long time. From the Depths is a game where you can build boats and build cars. Not cars. Well, yeah, you can sort of build cars, but it's mainly like a boat and flying, and you basically build creations and then fight other creations on a map. But the amount of customization you can do in that game is disgusting. You don't just, oh, let me put down an engine so the thing runs. No, you can choose from an assortment of engines, from a like an electrical engine to a steam engine to a fuel based engine, and then you have to build the engine by parts, and the parts affect the efficiency and how much power it puts out and how much oil it guzzles. And then it's like, okay, now I built that. Now I have to build the guns, but you can't just put down guns. No, each of the types of guns are insanely customizable. You have to put them on a turret, then put all the pieces, then all the different components of a gun, how long the barrel is, what ammunition size, and then you can customize the ammunition as well. Missiles as well have different parts. You can make cluster missiles or harpoon missiles, and also the boat has to float. You have to have air pockets in the boat to have it be able to float. And types of armor. Armor gets affected because there's different types of bullet that are effective against different types of armor, like heat or uh like just penetration rounds, armor penetration rounds, or explosive or frag. So there's too much, right? There was too much, and I got way too deep into all of it. And that means I was spending so much time each day designing and thinking of ideas for making boats and different crafts, flying crafts, submarines, and it felt like I was doing so much. It felt like I was being so productive. I was an engineer creating new abominations like Frankenstein. I was creating things that should not exist. And it felt so right, so productive, so I'm working so hard. And then you zoom out after losing yourself for a month and you're like, wait, this is a game. None of this actually matters. I've been wasting a month of time not actually working on something that benefits me in real life. And then you get sad. And then you cry. No, but yeah, it the issue I have with games, I guess, it makes me feel so productive. The games I play make me feel so productive. They make me feel like I'm doing something, but then you remember you're not doing shit. This is a game. Like this isn't making you get closer to your goals in any sort of way, but you sure as shit feel like you're doing something. You sure as shit feel so busy, you know? And it tingles that part of the brain as well. Because after a day of playing that game, you lay down and you're like, ah, good work. And you sleep. You sleep and I'm so happy. You know? I put like 500 hours into that game, 523. And a lot of my favorite creations was when I like figured out how the game ticked, like the underneath things of the game, and like fucked around with that. Like, or I make it sound like I was hacking, but no. It was just that I realized that missiles aimed for the center of your craft mostly. So I just, oh, no. Um, I made a, so you can make turrets that destroy missiles, right? You can make lamb systems, anything that like is a gun or a laser that shoots missiles. But then I thought, why don't I just make a really long stick? so so I just made a turret that had a row of blocks going out into the fucking distance, and it just it was it I just made it a lamb system so it would aim at missiles like it was a gun, but it wasn't a gun. It was just a stick. So what would happen was the enemy craft would have these incredibly large missiles that are really expensive, and they would lose to a stick because explosive missiles or anything have a range of explosion. So no matter how much damage the thing does, if it hits the end of the stick, it's gonna destroy like 3 of the sections of the stick, and then the rest of it's still there. But that's not it. I just have multiple of those sticks and just have a controller set up so that if one of the sticks gets too short, it'll just start the next stick. It'll just deploy the next stick and be like, don't worry, we got a backup stick to boot the missiles. So it was the cheapest fucking anti-missile system. Just a wooden stick, a really long stick. But also, like, another satisfying thing was I made a submarine that was, so it was a submarine that had missiles that launched outside of the water, so it was underwater. Then it launched missiles up out of the water that were harpoons. And I had like really big engines on the submarine, so it had enough engine power to reel in other vehicles. So what it would do would it would launch up these missiles, it would hook into another vehicle, then it would start reeling it in, and normally it would like overpower pretty much all of the other vehicles. It was really cheap as well, because like most of its weapons were just, or most of its weapons weren't that expensive. It was mostly used to just reel in things. Um, but after it reeled things in to a certain degree, I had like a lot of ifs and buts like put into the machine that like, oh, if the enemy gets into this distance, you tilt the submarine and like just pull down. So it was like a kraken pretty much. But if it got to a certain point and started pulling them underwater, it would also deploy these things I called leeches, and it was just these tiny ass uh drones that were surrounded by ram blocks and rubber blocks. So ram blocks don't take they don't take collision damage, but they deal collision damage. And rubber blocks are also immune to collision damage. But instead of having it be like a proper craft, they were just these drones that had the AI of a turret as well. So it would just be a turret that was trying to face the enemy craft constantly and then just propel itself forward. So technically it was really cheap because it didn't have any AI on it or anything. It was just a turret that was moving and what had a giant, it was basically encased in a really small, compact, spinning craft. But then what happened, it was so cool every time. It's so satisfying. So it would just picture this underwater submarine launching these missiles that yank a way larger ship, and they hook in and it starts pulling it underwater, and then these tiny little fucking ticks or leeches come out from the submarine and they bore their way into the enemy ship. Like they don't take any damage, so it's they just keep drilling deeper and deeper into the ship. And the ship, if it moves, it jolts around and like it makes the ticks even more effective. So if the craft is like trying to get away or something, they do even more damage. So it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Because it was a weapon that just ate them from the inside. It was like a parasite. Sorry, I went off on a rant. See, I'm very sentimental about that game because it did suck away a large portion of my life. Um, Simon's Dono will be overlooked. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Oh, thank you for the 25 plin. Do you think there are any aspects of world building that are not worth the work? Toilets or species, erotic customs? Yeah, there are definitely parts of the world that you really shouldn't care about. I think, at least. I've noticed myself getting into the trap of like thinking way too much about things a lot of the time. Like thinking about how things work too much is sometimes a detriment to the project because after a certain point, if you think too much about something, it gets really boring. Because most of the questions you start asking, or I started asking myself, was like, does this make sense? And most of the time, the answer would be no, this doesn't make sense. So anything that didn't make sense, I removed. And when I removed it, it got really boring. A lot of the designs were just generic people in generic uniforms, no patterns, no accessories, nothing. Nothing interesting about them because none of it made sense. But then I had to step back and be like, a lot of things in the world don't make sense. A lot of people decorate things because it looks cool. You can draw things that just look cool. They don't need to make sense. I had to like really try to like drill that into my head again that I can just have fun designing crazy things and not think too much about details. And that also depends on like the type of world or what your world building project focuses on, right? It really depends on what it focuses on because you would want to flesh out everything that it focuses on a solid amount and then probably anything surrounding that to give it context, but that's about it. I like in this world, for example, I'm never gonna cover toilets. I'll just say they're fucking holes, like those medieval toilets. There's plank of wood hole. That's it. Like, or I would never like go too deep into, oh, what is the, what is the type of ground in that region, which means like what kind of crops can they grow or stuff like that, because it's not the main focus of the world. The main focus of the world is magic. It's exploring the effects of magic. It's the war and exploring the innovations of the people and what they create to fight the wars, right? And also the idea of like them drilling down and going up. So that's it, right? So anything around that that's important, I'll focus on, but anything outside of that doesn't matter, right? That you could think about it forever at that point because there's so much you could go into, but that's just a trap because that doesn't matter. I don't think any of that matters. The kind of story you want to tell with the world. Yeah, that's what I said. It really depends on what the goal of your project is. If your goal of the project is to very deeply talk about this interesting fantasy political structure of kingdoms and hierarchies and the families that control them and stuff like that, then yeah, you go really deep into that. But I don't think it's gonna matter. Like some other things might not matter in that case. It might not matter what kind of fucking wildlife there is outside of your window. What kind of wildlife is there in the forest? I don't think that's gonna matter in that case because it's the focus is on something completely different. hone some of that into your world building, Monster Garden, naval stream when Poseidon demands it. See, like the naval stuff like that, I don't think is relevant yet. Maybe it will in the future. Maybe I'll just do some throwaway like ship designs, but I don't think it's the main focus because most of the battle is happening on ground. And like you can just assume, yeah, there's ships shipping cargo back and forth from different locations. I don't have to illustrate that because there's no point in wasting my time to illustrate what a ship looks like. You know, there wouldn't be any sort of magic innovations that would be made in ship travel or that would be relevant. What inspired your world? Too many things. It came from a lot of places. I can't like pinpoint it. It's basically everything I like congealed into a world. You know, I recommend that if you want to make a world building project, like just make a world that has a lot of things that you like. Base it off of things you like really like and are passionate about. Because then it's really easy to think about it and really easy to work on it because you like it. You know, if you don't know about something, I try to avoid putting it in the world unless you want to like educate yourself and like look it up and learn about it and stuff. I mean, there's bound to be stuff that you have to look up, obviously, but the main basis of the world should be something you really like. Um, so sad that monsters aren't one of the main design considerations of the Monster Garden. They will be. It's just that I sort of have to establish the groundwork of the world. But monsters and creatures and stuff like that are a thing in the world that I do want to cover because I like drawing creatures a lot. Yeah, even though that it doesn't seem like that at the moment. We will cover creatures more, okay? Don't worry. There will be monsters, but not too many monsters. Or monsters that are relevant to what is happening in the world. Um, I might like design some here and there that don't have much to do with the world just for the fun of it, but outside of that, it depends. If you stop liking something, do you take it out of the world? Uh, my likes have stayed pretty consistent, I'd say. Um, I'd say my likes have stayed pretty consistent over time. Though, yeah, I would just take it out if I don't like it. I mean, in my opinion, I'm not telling you, oh, you should take out everything you don't like and leave the stuff you like. For me, I have taken out things I don't like anymore, to a certain degree. Like I've removed large chunks of the world, because I just didn't like them anymore, or they didn't fit. So I'm not like married to any idea too much. You know, if something changes and I feel like it fits more, I don't worry too much about removing large chunks and changing them around because it's just a part of the process. It's nice that monster designs have the nuance of a world backing them. There are a lot of monsters in media that are monsters for the sake of being monsters. Yeah, I agree with that. Like I like monsters that are explored thoroughly, monsters that have a purpose in the world. If there's humans in the world and there's a monster in the world, people are going to figure out how to use that monster, either to cultivate it and use it as livestock, to use it in war, to like use the materials that the monster has, meat, leather, scales. So there must be like outfits and costumes and things made out of that monster. There must be cuisines and foods cooked with that monster. Like those things are interesting when it's not just, oh no, there's a bad monster and you kill it and then you just leave it. Like what? People don't just leave shit. They definitely take it apart and look at it and try to figure out what the fuck to do with it. And if they figure out what to do with it, they'll fucking do that. Like they'll dissect literally everything. That's how we are. Like if you give them like a lightning casting dragon monster, they won't just be like, ah, we killed the beast and then go home. No, they'll fucking take that thing apart and try to figure out how that magic lightning shit works. And if somebody cracks the code, they'll use that as a weapon. You know, and that's so much more interesting. when they actually play around with them and it interacts, or like a whole economy could be built off of a creature pretty much if it is like a very valuable resource or has some sort of fucking uh, liquid in it that can cure diseases or something like that. Uh, what's the origins of the name Monster Garden? Well, previously I did streams on Twitch. I did streams on Twitch a long time ago, where I designed monsters with my viewers. My first passion was like, or the passion I had at the time was like creating monsters and designing monsters, and I thought it would be a fun idea to design monsters with viewers. So we would like come up with a topic at the start. I would sort of set a baseline with a word. So I'd say something like uh, overgrown, and then we'd play off of that. We'd be like, okay, what comes up? What comes into your mind when you think of overgrown? And then people would be throwing out ideas, and then we'd start go on from there. It's like, oh, what if this? What if that? And then we start making a backstory for it while I design it and draw it and stuff like that. So we just have fun like designing creatures. Um, so I felt like it had to be have like monster in the title, and then I just came up with the idea Monster Garden. Like it wasn't that complicated for me. I just feel like it fit. I like moss. I like how green moss is. So I made the logo moss. I wanted to write it in like mossy letters. Here, this, that. And so I was like, yeah, well, what's mossy? Garden. Okay, cool. Monster Garden. And it sounded nice as well. I think Monster Garden sounds nice. It's easy to remember. I think so. It's a good name, I think. What kind of structures, buildings are you drawing? What style of architecture are your inspirations? I don't know. I'm just taken from everything I can find at the moment. Um, Taking that to the real world, how would you say we use lions as a species? Lions as a species? I mean, there's people hunting lions, you know, which is not good, of course. But we also put them in zoos. Some people keep them as pets. Insane, but they do, you know. So we do use them in a few ways. There's safaris just to go look at the things. You know, they're like an attraction pretty much. You could just go, whoa, look, lions. There are national documentaries. You can look at them there as well. We use them in a lot of ways. No, a concerning amount of animal. We just go, yes, I want you in my house. Um, it's, a, it's definitely easy to fall into the trap of to force it to stay in my world because I added it a while ago. I have to force this to stay in my world. Yeah, yeah. Have you ever been in a situation where you had an idea you really liked for a world building project, but didn't know how to fit it in? How do you deal with that? I'll just do a one-off design in that case. If I find something that doesn't fit, but I still want to draw it, I'll just draw it, and I'll just not worry about it. You know, I still wanted to draw it, so I'll do that. I even if it doesn't fit with the world I'm working on at the moment, there's no harm in just drawing it and imagining a different world. Who knows what could come out of it? Maybe you like that world even more than the one you're working on at the moment, and you'll be like, oh, fuck it, let me go to that one instead, and you find a whole different thing, you know? So I just don't stress too much about it. If I have like an urge to suddenly draw like a guy in a spacesuit, I wouldn't be like, oh, how can I fit this into the Monster Garden? I'd be like, yeah, I'll have a little fun thinking exercise and think about the world around this character and draw him, and then that'll be the end of it. If I want to expand on it, I'll expand on it when I want. Things I had to cut because they were relevant or didn't feel right, even though I liked them. Rip. Oh, that's a shame. There has to be a monster with the jaws uh, of your channel profile. That is a good point. Okay, thank you. Gotta go. Take care. Take care, Insanity. We used to fight them for esports. Oh, right, yeah. Colosseums as well, I guess. Massive urban battlefield and monsters. Symbol of status rank. Yeah, see, you can come up with even more methods than I did. I was sort of thinking in the modern sense, but back in the day, we used lions even more. Fucking coliseums. We used to fight the fucking things. Crazy. Well, fight. We used to get eaten by the thing. Let's call it eaten. Fighting is not the best term to use in that situation. You just sort of fed them. The Romans put lions into arenas. Imagine that with magic beasts. Yeah, I mean in the D&D movie they did that. I don't know if that's an actual like event in the books, like in the D&D books, if that's like a campaign or something. I just go off the movie. But yeah, in the D&D movie they had like a coliseum pretty much, with like uh displacer beasts. Wait, no, what the fuck were those things called? I think they're called displacer beasts. The panther looking things with tentacles. What is the largest structures the dwarf in your settings have made? I can't say. Have you ever done sci-fi? Yeah, I've done sci-fi. I started off with sci-fi. First thing I drew was things in Warframe. Then a lot of my world building projects at the time, like when I started off, were about like sci-fi worlds exploring, like getting explored by people, aliens and stuff like that. Maybe give the monsters grots so they can be more hyper. You can do that in Dwarf Fortress a lot, but some monsters in a hole and throw goblins down. Oh, yum. Your avatar is pretty cool and unique looking. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'd love to see an arena fight with one of those massive metal balls from Elden Ring, just like a big old hunk of steel. It'd be funny to have people realize what the hell it is. You just put them in an arena with a metal ball in the middle, and they're like, the fuck is this? Just a boulder? Like, what's that gonna do? And then it starts rolling and accelerating towards them, and they go, oh shit, this thing moves on its own. Have you ever thought that maybe the Elden Ring metal balls are actually just big ass hamster balls? Like there's a hamster inside that thing. Like that's how it moves. There's a hamster. That's probably the case. What is the weirdest noise you can make? Ah, Bonky McNoggins, I appreciate the $5, but not that question. What do you mean, what's the weirdest noise I can make? I have no idea what your qualification of weird is. Some noise that might be weird for me might be very generic for you. And I'm not going to try either. You cannot lead me into that trap of making some weird noises on stream. They recently released an art book. Oh, that's neat. Huh. Might go look at it. I don't think I'll buy it though. Arena fight with the rolling giant from old. No. No, that's awful. It's kind of crazy to think one of my biggest world building projects spiraled out of me wanting to make a dinosaur series. Yeah, sometimes world building projects really come out of left field, like from very unexpected things. You know, you don't expect to be making a world building project. My project, I mean, the Monster Garden all the way, started from. I wasn't planning to make a world building project. It sort of just became one. It willed its way into existence. Is like watching a world building is like watching a duck walk. When you get so deep into you started walking like one and can't stop. And then people start calling you Duck Boy, and you start quacking at them. What the fuck? What kind of that doesn't make sense at all. Oh, I like your name, Jotun. That's cool. Giant. I like Jotun. Couldn't the dwarves roll on the side when tucked in? Like cylinders? Yeah, they could. Honestly, architecture design has been a weak point in my art. Yeah, same. So I'm honestly curious as to what you did to gain momentum with your improvement in it specifically. Well, I'm doing it right now. Well, I've been talking to you guys, right? But look, I'm just enjoying talking. Okay, sorry. There's no drawing happening at the moment, but this is what I've been doing to like try and get better at it. I basically find images that I'm interested in and then give myself 5 minutes to draw them. So these are all my attempts at giving myself 5 minutes to draw of references, because I think like out of those first 5 minutes, I can gain a lot of information really quickly instead of like taking a lot of time to like render it out. I'm just gonna take 5 minutes per drawing, you know. So yeah, actually, okay, that's enough for now. I'm gonna procrastination. No, no, don't accuse me. Can someone sabotage architecture by unraveling a support beam? By what? Unraveling a support beam? You mean unfurling? Like, I mean, at that point you could just blow it up, or um, you could just use a terraforming mage. But I mean, yeah, you could unfurl it. Unfurling normally makes a material weaker, like it makes it loosen up, you know? So, yeah, you could definitely like compromise the structural integrity of something by unfurling a pillar. Though more efficient way would be just to blow it up or use terraforming magic. But I guess for like hardened walls, maybe I mean, yeah, we could think about it that way. Maybe it's like um the most effective thing you could do with like hardened walls that used if to harden them could be to unfurl them. That would be an easy way to soften them, perhaps. It's less destructive on a large scale, but it's very easy to soften like a small portion of a wall or something. That could be the case. I wonder if you could sabotage architecture by meticulously taking it apart and then rebuilding it somewhere else. Who rebuilt my fucking house? five feet from my actual lot. Like there's that part of the ground where it's like paved over where the house used to be, and it's just shifted to the left by a few feet. What's the point? And then you realize, it was a crude joke at first, like 5 feet. That's not anything to worry about. And then you go in your house and you actually realize all the electrical cables and water lines are misaligned as well. So none of it works. You're like, God damn it. That, sir, is petty. I love it. Yeah, you don't even bother to move it far. You reconstructed the house just a little bit to the left. Also, actually, decent question. Have you ever had carving for what? Have you ever had a craving for a sensation of something that doesn't exist? Such, what am I saying? Such as a particular fruit. Something that doesn't exist. So, like, something somebody else came up with, like a non existent fruit. And I was like, I'd want to try that. You mean that? None of the furniture moves with the house, so anything next to a wall ends up inside of it. You fucking clipped my furniture into the wall? How dare you? How dare you? Um, but yeah, I guess I've been interested. Like I've had cravings for things that don't exist. Ghibli food is a good example. Any food that's presented in Ghibli movies, that shit's drawn like fucking Gordon Ramsay gave a kiss to every single piece of uh bacon they put on that pan. Like seriously. So that doesn't exist, and I've craved it. So I guess that counts. I love these streams you put on. Lets me feel like I'm hanging out with a cool dude. Well, I appreciate that you consider me a cool dude while I study work on my own art. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, even though some people are probably infuriated by my lack of drawing, I had an entire character based around the concept of just moving all your furniture 5 millimeters to the left. Definitely a supervillain. Definitely a supervillain. You can't do that to somebody. you know? Cuz like you don't know how used to where your furniture is you get while you're maneuvering through your own house. I could turn off the lights in my whole house and I'd still be able to maneuver through my house fine because it's just muscle memory. If you move everything 5 millimeters to one side, I'm gonna stub my toe so many fucking times. You'd ruin my life, you know, with the subtlest shift. POV, young me wanting to make a series about dinosaurs similar to Jurassic Park, then watching as it slowly spirals into an alien planet on the brink of mass extinction because of mysterious tampering. Oh, that's great. Um, yeah, there's folklore for goblins saying they would be chores, but they would do chores for families in exchange for food. Uh, I can imagine the goblins would eventually just start living there normally. Yeah, I mean, they'd be nice to have around. Make it, move it more when he gets used to the new furniture. Yeah, that's evil. The worst thing would be moving it back once you get used to the new arrangement. Oh, people said the same thing. Uh, how do you get such a clean? What? How'd you get such a clean chroma key on your green scheme? Green? I can't see even a smidge of a border on the side of your face. Now, listen, it's just really high quality editing, all right. Uh, curse of minor displacement and forced toe stubbing. That could be a curse. I move her lamp and couch over a few inches every time I go visit her. Menace. Menace. Absolute menace. I'm back for a question. Does anyone play Darktide? I played it for a little bit. When it was free. No, it wasn't free. It was really cheap for like a monthly bundle for something. It was like, oh, pay monthly. No, no. I don't remember what service it was on, but it was basically, oh, first month you can play all these games and it's really cheap, and the next months preceding that month get more expensive. So my friend pitched it to me like, hey, I'm gonna pay it for all of you for the first month because it's insanely cheap. It was like $1 or something. Um, so we just played Darktide because we were interested in wanting to know what Darktide's like, but we didn't want to buy the actual game. So we just paid for the monthly thing and then played it to try it out together. Uh, and at the time, I don't know if that's changed yet. It was really bare bones. Like it was like a sad, more depressed version of Deep Rock Galactic. You know, it had that mission structure. It was randomly, well, randomly generated missions is stretching the top is stretching it. It was the same maps which there were like four of, with you know, like a few modifiers, but it wasn't like interesting modifier. They would have side missions in them, but they weren't interesting side missions. You just had to look around the map to find like some random book or something. It was just not fun. And the the pacing of it as well. Like it was like, ooh, a bit of story, and then just go do some random fucking missions, and then ooh, a little bit more story, and then the weapons are just, you know, like the numbers just creep up a little bit each weapon, but the gameplay doesn't change. You're just fighting tougher enemies with harder hitting weapons, so in the end, it just equals out. So you're just doing the same thing, but you just have bigger numbers that don't actually do anything more. Bonky McNoggins, $5. Would you rather have unlimited bacon but no games, or unlimited games? Unlimited games but no bacon? What? Would you rather have unlimited bacon but no games, or unlimited games but no bacon? I mean, obviously unlimited games. I can go without bacon. You know, there's other meats or other cuts that are similar to bacon that can still give me that satisfaction without being actually bacon. So I definitely go with that's an easy choice right there. You think you'll continue the conjoined twin mage from last stream? Also, thank you for the €5 and thank you for the $5, both of you, Roken and Bonky McNoggins. Appreciate it. I'm probably not gonna continue it. I just threw it out. I threw out all those sketches. Well, they're still there. I just probably am not gonna continue it. The conjoined mage, though, I mean, they pretty much. There's Rufus and Finn who are conjoined. The witch hunters. We'll still have to cover those. Do you like Borderlands games? Yeah. One of the first games I played was Borderlands 2. I probably shouldn't have had access to it when I was that young, but my actual first game that I played was Spore. But after Spore, it was Borderlands 2. And I enjoyed it for what it was. Nowadays, not crazy about that type of game, but I did enjoy it when I was still playing it. No bacon is sad. No games is sad too. Bonky McNoggins. I mean, you can make your argument that no bacon is sad, but all games, like, no more games? Seriously? No more games. Spore is a lovely game. Yeah, I was one of those peoples that was closely following the trailers and the development. Or like I was very excited for it when I saw the trailers, you know? And I was like, holy shit, it's gonna be insane. And then it came out and it was, I mean, it's good, yeah. But like, I wished it was that thing that I saw in the trailers, you know? Like more serious, bloodshed, fucking hunting down animals and shit like that. Crazy. It was disappointing. I mean, I wouldn't call it disappointing. It was not what you expected, but when it was still good. It was still fun, right? It was still fun, which is fine by me. Said this before, but I thought it'd be cool if dwarves in your world ate stone and created a specific material that they'd build their structures with. More insectoid, you know? Yeah, I guess that'd be interesting. I mean, termites and stuff like that do it. Just eat it and mix it with saliva and then start making walls out of it and stuff. It could be interesting. I'll think about it. Yeah, you couldn't play chess or tag or I Spy ever again. Exactly. That's even worse. But hear me out. Unlimited bacon. Now listen, hear me out too, Bonky McNoggins. Even though you have unlimited bacon, your bloodstreams and veins can't handle unlimited bacon, I don't think. You know? Even though you wished if your body ain't gonna handle unlimited bacon. If it could, then maybe I'd pick unlimited bacon. If it was like you have unlimited bacon and your body can handle that much unlimited bacon, then I might consider. But that's not the case. It was just unlimited bacon. My body is still weak and mortal and frail and can only handle that much bacon before I fucking die. So it had to be the games. Hey, what about this? Unlimited bacon with no games. Or unlimited games, but no games. Now, now you're asking the tough questions, all right? Now you're asking the really tough questions. Can I sell said bacon? I mean, yeah, but what you'd be selling it for? What would you sell it for? You sell bacon, and what? You're like, great, I can buy games now. But there's no games. Yeah, see? Worthless. Money. Worthless. Throw it out. Fucking chuck it out. What else are you gonna use money for? You don't need it for food. You got bacon. You could sell the games. Exactly. You could sell the games too. But yeah, I'd probably take the unlimited games, but no games option. Because it's unlimited games. Like, obviously. You know? So that's definitely what I'm picking. I think we're thinking too deep about this question. We're starting to go philosopher deep esque into this question. Fucking starting to pick apart the question and its meaning and its like reality and shit like that. I think it's enough of that question. Anyone remember when this was a drawing stream? Okay, listen. Fine. I'm drawing. You know what? I'll put the practice on pause because I want to just like play around with some more dwarven structures, see if I can come up with anything. So let's do that. Have you, Simon? What? Have you seen Tales of Earthsea? No, I don't know what that is. This is a new world building project. The Bacon Army versus the Empire of Games. How much pressure you reckon dwarves can handle? Excuse me? Fucking, my guy is about to go, welcome to the hydraulic press channel. Today, we have a dwarf. These are dangerous creatures. Let's deal with it. Fucking crushes the dwarf. No, I'm not gonna tell you how much pressure that thing handles. Are you also drawing a world map? I'm probably not gonna draw a world map. Because I just don't like locking down locations to specific places, because then you can't really add to it. I mean, you can retcon a map, obviously, but it just feels a lot more official when you have a map. So I want to like just keep it like, yes, you'll know locations and you'll know where they are located, but not specifically to the point where I'll give you a map. You know, I don't think a map is necessary in this case. Although maps are cool. I like maps. They look really nice, but I don't think my world would work well with maps. Um Genuinely can't tell. It's no opacity, no thickness. It's the most basic brush. The only thing I adjusted is that this is when I press lightly, and when I press a little harder, it gets this big. And that's just for the sake of erasing it easier. So it's pretty much just the basic brush. There's nothing special. I'm using Krita. Don't put a dwarf in a barrel. Please. That's very cruel. That's smart. Yeah, I mean, on Krita, when you activate Eraser, it just makes your brush an eraser. There's no, like, or, well, there probably is, but it's not like a separate brush, a separate eraser brush. It is your brush that you're using, just inverted into an eraser. So that's why it was sort of uh, inconvenient for me to, like, switch to a different brush to use to erase, because the brush I'm using is really thin. Because if I try to erase with this, it'll just be like this, you know? So I just made it so it could get bigger. That's all. Bye, guys. Have fun time. Okay, take care. Take care. Do people make things out of dwarves? What the... What? No. Of course not. Why'd they make things out of dwarves? It's horrible. Terrible. What are some interesting fictional conspiracy theories you've heard? Not sure. Can't think of any off the top of my head. I've definitely heard lots of conspiracy theories, but I can't think of an interesting one. You guys are very mean to dwarves. Agreed. Spookheads. These people are somehow very mean to dwarves. I don't know why everybody wants to fucking beat up and condense dwarves into raw materials, fucking hydraulic press channel the fucking thing, or, you know? It's not nice. What if somebody did that to you, huh? What if somebody just said, "Hey, how much pressure can you handle?" Yeah? What would you do then? It's a cruel world. Well, you don't have to add to that cruelty, man. You can be the light. You can be the fallen angel, the one who picks people up, not compresses them into ingots. The only harm I would ever do to dwarves would be using them as a stand for my drink. They'd knock over that fucking drink. How dare you? They wouldn't let that slide. Can they compress my back? Things killing me. Good, probably. Are you looking for any specific reference right now? No, I'm pretty lost. When it comes to, like, the idea of what I want the dwarves to look like, I'm not quite sure what direction I want to pull it in. It's carved from rock, so I should probably look for references of structures that are also carved from rock. That might be a good idea. But you can do a lot with rock, you know? So it's not like it's going to limit the possibilities. And they also are going to use, like, metal in the design as well. So still, yeah, it's just, it's hard to, like, nail down a style that I want to get. Maybe something along these lines might be interesting. I don't know what a Petra is. Hello. Maybe something like Petra. Okay, people mentioning Petra. What the fuck is Petra? Petra. Oh, it's literally the structure I think I took. What about monolith type structures? Not like Stonehenge, that's too boring. It's just some rocks. Why are half of you hunting the dwarves and the other half befriending them for grot? Play nice with the dwarves. They didn't do nothing wrong. Exactly. Listen to what Bonky McNoggins has to say here. Thank you for the $5, Bonky McNoggins. I appreciate it a lot. I have no idea where you're pulling this money out from, but I mean, whatever fraudulent activities you may be conducting to gain this much cash, I will. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. How do dwarves taste, you sick people? Also, Bonky McNuggets, I completely believe that you have earned this money legitimately with hard work and elbow grease. I'm like a wizard pulling it out of my magic hat. Okay, never mind. Yeah, you're definitely doing fucking that's some illegal shit right there. You can't just do the money duplication glitch. That was outlawed in the last patch. Are you fucking serious? Did you figure out a different method to do it? You know? Last patch was ridiculous. Yeah. It's a shame I only found out after they patched it out. You could just spam the buttons on a fucking ATM machine and it'd glitch out and just like if you click take money out and then press cancel fast enough, it would still give you money. And then it would also cancel the transaction, so you didn't lose anything, but yeah. I didn't catch on to that in time. That's my fault for not looking out for the news or the patch notes. The cost of living. If you clip your hand into a hat and jump twice next to a door, teleports cash from out of bounds into the inventory. Oh shit. Is it that Bethesda situation where it's like every shop and every fucking bank and stuff like that you can interact with just has a secret chest somewhere that has all of the inventory of that place? So you're basically just clipping into that and taking the money out of it. Who knows who you're stealing from? I mean, that's terrible. You used to be able to control an ATM with an old rigged up Game Boy, a Visa gift glitch, a gift card, and some cabling. Yeah, the new version involves some transfers between accounts at midnight. Ooh, interesting. A version of that glitch, you can jump through the skylight at a bank and it fails to load some of the assets like the vault door. Oh, fuck. But yeah, but it's like hard to do that because it's really suspicious if you like walk into a bank with a fucking ladder or something and try to hit your head against the ceiling. You know, you just look like a crazy person. They're gonna call the cops on you or something. Hey, Stan, we're not committing fraud or grand theft, all right? We're just abusing the glitches. It's their fault for having glitches. Sir, I did not commit grand theft. I just glitched through a wall and got into the bank. Your fault. I did not commit tax fraud. It was a skill issue on your part, and you're accusing me for your shortcomings? Pathetic. Sir, I swear I just did up, up, left, down, and I peered into the vault. Yes. It's not my fault the money lured me in like a 30s cartoon. A hand formed from pure smell tickles my nose as I flew towards it with closed eyes. Fucking, my goodness. Oh, that's great. The smell of money attracted me, sir. I'm sorry. I mean, you can't deny it. Do you have a timeline for release of your dwarf figure? Sadly, no. But we're at work on it. Like the thing we're currently trying to work out is obviously we want the head to like come off and you to be able to put stuff inside. But that means we have to figure out what kind of mechanism we want to have the head lock in place, and also how much space we can realistically uh, have inside the dwarf. You know, uh, cause I do want it to still have some heft to it, so the walls need to be a certain thickness. Obviously, just out of sturdiness as well. I don't want the thing to break or anything. So we need like a certain amount of thickness, and then also make the lid fit for that. So we'll have to see how that like works. Uh, Funky McNoggin, smelly money being shoved in Simon's general direction. Ooh. I can smell it. I start floating towards it. Stupid. Yeah, thank you for the $10 again, Bunky McNuggins. Jesus Christ, I I don't know how to thank you anymore. A dwarf piggy bank when? I mean, you can put money in it if you'd want. You couldn't keep that much money in it though. You just keep like an amount of it. Yeah, maybe some shapes like this might be interesting because they are curved roofs and then they flatten off and then just have another layer. If you keep on streaming, you will become a millionaire due to Bonky McNoggin's true. I don't know how he gets this money. It doesn't make sense. No, no. Look, yeah, I budget properly. Good, very good. It's good to hear that you budget properly. It looks so wrong, though. It looks like a biplane. I guess it sort of does. What sense of scale should we have for these compared to a dwarf? This is supposed to be gigantic. Like here, those are supposed to be carts and wagons getting into the thing. So like that's also tough, is to like get that sense of scale right, because this thing is like supposed to be really big. What if there's a type of creature that could use a type of anti-magic that will actually reshape objects to slowly to slow the movement of mana through that object? I mean, I have thought that there would be a way to make objects less magic, um, like less agreeable with magic. There are materials that don't or repel magic well, but the issue is like what kind of shape would do that. That's what I've been stuck with, is like what kind of shape repels magic. And also, something that repels magic wouldn't be that useful outside of using it to explore the mana core, which I won't talk about because that's for later. But like a lot of magic in the world doesn't do, if we're talking about it in a game sense, magic doesn't often do magic damage, you know? Like uh if you acceleration magic is just a really fast projectile. You've already spent the magic to accelerate the projectile, so it's just a fast bullet. It ain't magic anymore, so you can't do anything if you have some anti-magic field or whatever. It doesn't matter. Combustion magic is just an explosion. You know, you use the magic to fuel the explosion, but in the end, it's just an explosion. It's not a magic explosion, so that wouldn't work either. So I guess like illusion magic or vocalists would be affected by it, or healing magic would be affected by it. If somebody tried to terraform you, which is a terrifying thought, if somebody tried to terraform you, you could deflect that as well, because terraforming requires the material that you're going to cast it into. So if you cut it off before it reaches that material, which is you, then you're fine. So yeah, I it's just the form in which the energy is stored. Well, it's magic gets put into things to make it do stuff, you know. So magic is the, if magic is energy, magic is the energy you put into something to make it do the thing, right? But the thing isn't magic. You push a ball, that doesn't make the ball magic. That makes the ball move because of magic. So you can't reflect the ball or something. I conjure fourth aeroplane. What? But yeah, maybe we want like more very broad flat structures. Like they go underground to a certain degree. That might be interesting. Like these are windows, but the rooms themselves go down like this. The main room wouldn't make sense if it did that though, because you needed a cart to go through it. I have to scamper off now? Okay, take care, Newman. Take care. Simon, lore, drawing, just my opinion. I see. I see. I see how it is. Look, I just enjoy talking to you guys, alright? Don't judge me. Don't judge me. There's two giant pipes. Smoke, man. The pipes are for smoke. The thing's billowing like a fucking volcano. There's giant forges and machines working in that inside that thing. Yeah. Also, I want the actually drawing this thing and making it look right might be a really tall task. Because I wanted to think of it as like a collaboration between dwarves and Varusian mechanics as well. Because I don't think dwarves would be the most proficient with building things above ground. So they would take a lot of inspiration from the things around them and the structures by Varusians as well. And Varusians would also help build it as it's for both of their benefit. So it would be like a collaboration. And I'd expect the town of Trade Run and a lot of other, honestly, a lot of other Varusian structures to also be influenced by Dwarven architecture. Like things rub off of each other a lot, you know, in the real world. They don't just like stay separated perfectly from everything. Dwarven architecture looks like Dwarven architecture, and people architecture looks like people architecture. No, there's a lot of intermingling, a lot of inspiration taken, a lot of people going, huh, that's a good idea. Let me use that, and then they do. So it's gonna be a tough thing to try and get right, you know, because it also means that I have to think about Varusian architecture and how that looks, and how it would influence dwarves and what they would take from it to use in their own buildings. Both is good. Sadly, I must go off now. Okay, take care. Take care, Bonky McNuggins. Thank you for the additional $5. The land of cheese wheels. Yes. Don't worry, the silent patron will be upon us. Thank you, silent patron. Even though you're not silent anymore, but still, thank you, silent patron. Bonky schmonky? What the fuck? Don't call him that. Don't call my man Bonky McNoggins that. Don't you dare be rude to him. He's like 90% of my fucking income. He's literally feeding me. You want me to starve? Be nice to the man. Stop. No, don't call him Bucky Schmonkey. Take care, Bunky Schmonkey. No. Okay. No. Monsty Gardomki? What the fuck? That's stupid. That is so stupid. Don't. No. Don't even. The hell is that? Bonky Monster Guardy? What? I don't even know how I've pronounced that properly the first time. I want to eat a dwarf. Don't do that. Could you not? Everyone's just going insane here. Yeah, you guys are losing it. I would like some dwarven silverware. They just eat with their hands. I expect them to be that sort of culture where they just eat with their hands. I doubt they'd want to use any sort of silverware. I mean, they got perfectly fine grippers. I mean hands. By grippers, I mean hands. Oh, silverware made by dwarves. Wait, silverware made of dwarves. No! No, don't do that! Simon is not beating the feet guy accusations. Now listen here. I do not have a thing for feet, alright? I do not have a thing for feet. It's okay if you do. No, I don't. No, there was no however at the end of that. That was the end of the sentence, the end of the statement. No however. Feet, man. Bro, I'm getting bullied by my own chat. I tell them I don't like feet, and they're like, whatever, feet boy. Fucking whatever, feet boy. Fuck you. You know your dirty secret. You don't kink shame your. No, listen. Listen. Now listen here. I'm telling the truth, goddammit. Why not? Feet are amazing. Ah, I see, Black Jam. I see. We don't kink shame, but we will call you a little feet boy. I'm telling you, I'm not into feet. Why did I have to laugh after that? I, that makes it so much less credible. I have a knack of doing that for some reason. When I tell my girlfriend things, but for some reason when she presses me on some things and asks me a question and I answer it, but I laugh afterwards for some reason. But it's funny to me because she doesn't believe me. Like because I genuinely, it's a genuine answer for me, but she's suspicious, which makes it funny to me, which means I laugh, which makes it sound even more suspicious that I'm like, no, listen, and I start laughing, and it's horrible. It's horrible. No, don't give me that look. Don't give me that look. Don't give me that look. But yeah, it's hard to sound believable when you're laughing to yourself, you know? So please trust me. I don't like feet. It's okay, footboy. No need to deny anything. Not helping your case, footboy. What? Dwarf give me grot. Grot good. Want more grot. Dwarf no. Angry. Eat dwarf. Dwarf gone. No grot. Sad. Terrible cycle. No, officer. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I would be terrible. As I'd be such a suspect in any sort of situation because I'd find it funny that they suspect me, which just ruins my credibility. Let's laugh. That's always that always helps. Yeah. I've never been in like a fully stressful situation to the point where I'd laugh. So I don't know if I am that kind of person that would laugh in stressful situations. I laugh in like silly situations, like, you know, my girlfriend pressing me for questions, but that's not a stressful situation. That's just funny. Eh, you know. Now don't think it's like a serious thing cuz she's joking along as well, but it's I am. Do dwarves taste better if grot addicted or not? Hey, they don't. You don't eat dwarfs. Fun fact: technically, atoms never touch each other; just get really close. So, officer, I did not punch that dwarf. Good night, Red. Sleep tight. Good night. Who shit in the urinal? Snot laughs while trying to hide it. Why did you stick around for people to notice the crime? Like, if you shat in the urinal, you'd surely want to like get out of the crime scene as fast as possible. I mean, obviously, when you get out the door, you walk nonchalantly like nothing happens. But I mean, you know, like after that, you try to get as far away as possible to not be a suspect. Why would you stick around to? I mean, maybe that's the perfect ploy. You, but if you're laughing, then no, it's a terrible ploy. But you could be in the same, like, you know, you could act like you've just walking out of a stall and be like, whoa, who shit in this urinal? And then they'd, you know, they'd be like, oh, definitely not you because he pointed it out, you know. But I mean, if you're laughing, that whole plan falls apart because then obviously it's you. Ate the dwarf in self-defense. You ate the dwarf in self-defense, you say. I see. But, Your Honor, my witness begs to differ. My witness claims that he saw them devour the dwarf and then afterwards proceed to lick their fingers and go, mm-mm, so good and tasty. Mm-mm, good and tasty? So I beg to differ, Your Honor. There, multiple witnesses were at the scene of crime, all agreeing on this fact that they licked their fingers and went, yum yum in my tongue. They went, yum yum. I can't wait to eat another. Give me seconds. So, like, I doubt you guys broke Simon. Man, some real hot roleplay, please. No. No. I want to end the stream. The dwarves are tasty now. No, no, the dwarves are not tasty. Something like this might be more interesting than this, just adding more layers to it and more complexity to the shape to make it look bigger. Kind of works. Are you 100% sure now you want this structure to be symmetrical? I want the main part of it, this part, to be symmetrical. Why does that sound like a threat? AP? XP, I mean. Are you 100% sure you now want this structure to be symmetrical? Yes, the main part will be symmetrical, and anything beyond that doesn't have to be. But I want the main part to be symmetrical. Now, are you sure? We are human. We do not want what? We are human. What do you want from us? to not want to eat the dwarves. Now listen. Um, I'm not asking for you to fucking like sacrifice yourself for the greater good or something, you know? I'm just asking for you to not eat the sentient creatures that clearly have a good relations with humans and rely on each other for trade and for wares and stuff like that. Just don't eat that very humanoid thing. I don't think that's too much to ask for. Don't worry, XP. I'm just joking, by the way. Don't actually be sorry, please. If you can hear my nose whistling, by the way, that's a weird sentence. My nose is getting stuffy. I don't know why. Okay, I can breathe now. I think you should be sorry. Yeah, be sorry. Cry about it. Cry about it. Infinite food glitch? No. No. Please, no. Peel and eat like shrimp? No. Stop. I bet they would have juicy lobster meat. Please. Please. Don't eat the dwarf. No, that makes it look futuristic. Yeah, breaking up the roof a little bit might be good, so it has more of an interesting shape. Like we put some sort of statues maybe around the sides. We can make one. It might not be good, but damn it, we can make one. No, no, Stan. Stan, no. We're not cooking dwarves, everybody. No dwarf cooking will be happening in the Monster Garden. I just made a meme in Paint. How can I show you? Oh no. Put it in the server and at me. I'll look at it. Dwarf cooking recipe in your book? No, no, there is not gonna be a dwarf cooking recipe in my book. Hello, monsieur. On today's menu, we have dwarf a la gusto. Okay, you put it in Memetopia. What did you make? Waiter, waiter, more dwarves, please. Oh my god. Yeah, no, that'd just be adding fuel to the fire. That's the thing. Oh, rock and stone. Listen, Damon, it's not rock and stone anymore at this point. At this point, it's meat and bone. Yum. Meat and bone. It's like they come with their own bowl. Oh, come on. Fork and knife. Only one opinion. What kind of tea do you like?
I feel like that question's gonna bring the wrath of God upon me. So actually, I'm not gonna answer that. Because somebody's gonna not take that as an opinion. They'll take them as a personal offense and come hunt me down or something because I don't like fucking green tea or something, you know? That's an example, by the way. I'm not saying that I don't like green tea. I'm not stating that I like or dislike any sort of tea. Just giving an example. So please don't hunt me down. Someone hates green tea. Oh, god damn it. No. No, no, no. I shouldn't give an example. God damn it. We're canceling you. Fuck. Oh no. You can't have shit nowadays. Can't even have an opinion. Every opinion is a fucking statement. It's like every opinion is saying, dog, it's garbage. It's everybody who does like it is stupid. No, it's just, it's a personal opinion. Please, 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 sir, I just want to share my opinion. I'm only a poor little goblin. How can one hate green? I did not say I hated green tea. I didn't say it. What's wrong with green tea? No, it starts flipping from like, what's wrong with green tea? They don't even want to know it anymore. They're like, actually, no, that's not the right question to ask. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Everybody like pointing down as I get procedurally smaller, surrounded by crowds like a fucking movie scene. What's wrong with you? You little piece of. Yeah, you gotta pray to the internet gods every time that no. Hopefully, nobody picks it up and considers your opinion fact. Like you've claimed an act of war upon the rest of the internet that is not on your side. Way ahead of you to the gallows? No! No, no, no. What? I've lost my mind, I swear. Dobby's been granted a sock. It is crusty and unbending, but it is a sock and Dobby is free. No! What? No, Stan, my writer. You can't do that. You can't write something like that. That's canon now. That's a part of the lore. God damn it. You're gonna sneak that into the book somewhere. It's all part of the fanfic hot romance of Torvak and Hedwyn. Oh boy. Uh, we're losing it. Okay, I think it's gonna be time soon to end the stream as well. I want to go eat something. I haven't eaten after gym yet, so I'm gonna go munch on something. Uh, and I hope you enjoyed it though. We didn't get much drawing done. I'm gonna probably draw off stream a little more, but either way, I hope you enjoyed this. Whatever this was, I don't know. I don't know what this was. I sent a meme in the Discord. Of course you did. Of course you sent a meme. Today I will eat dwarves. Divine retribution? Yeah, good. Good. Very deserved.
What did you hit at gym today? The people. No, no, no. There's a woman using the Smith machine. Okay, okay. No, no, no. I'm actually gonna get myself canceled. Actually, genuinely gotta get myself canceled. Same? No, no, no. Don't. Um, I today I hit legs. I actually did squats. But I am not that flexible in my legs. So like the normal squat position is not that good for me, like having the bar rest on my back. I can't like go that low. So what I do instead is I like hug the bar in like my elbow, the fuck, elbow butt cracks? What are those called? The other side of the elbow crack. So I just have the bar there and do squats that way. It was fun. I hit someone's legs. No, no. I didn't hit someone. You hit people in the legs? No. Armpits? No, the elbow. The other side of the elbow is not the fucking armpit. Inner elbow. Yeah, okay, fair. That. He's an elbow guy? What the fuck? Simon really not beating the feet accusations with aiming for the leg. What? No, I do different things as well. I do legs and then I do arms and shit like that on other days. What are you talking about? No, no, no. It's not just legs. The reason I do squats is so that I can get low to the ground and get that low atmospheric air from all the stanky feet in the gym. Get a low angle on, being able to turn my head left and right sneakily, get some sneak peeks of those dogs, That's why I do squats. And push-ups especially. As soon as somebody's done, why is that guy doing push-ups in the squat rack? That's weird. He's doing push-ups in the squat rack after I was done with my squats. What is he doing? Bro's breathing heavy, like fucking big huffs. Bro's not even breathing. He's huffing and puffing. He's fucking every time he goes down to the ground. Oh. It sounds like you've put too much thought into this. No, no, I didn't. Sniff. But yeah, okay, look, we gotta end this. We gotta end this. This is gonna get me canceled if we keep going this way. So I hope everybody enjoyed the stream. I hope you enjoyed the mad ramblings and just talking mostly, barely drawing. And yeah, see you in the next one, and hopefully see you in the video as well, because I'm gonna be working hard to get that video done. So yeah, take care, take care, take care.